to the Warzone Amateur Hour Podcast.
Welcome back to the Warzone Amateur Hour Podcast. This is episode number 81, and this is the first podcast with the official reveal of Modern Warfare 2 in the rearview mirror. What was once an illusion-only theory has now kind of, emerged from beneath the depths of the ether and poked its little head out into the world, but still so much of its body to explore, which we're going to explore every inch of that body on this Modern Warfare 2 game. But that said, before we get down to the nitty-gritty, to all the nooks and crannies, to all the reading between the lines and reading the lines themselves, I gotta turn to the 10-inch cowboy who's heading out internationally this week and ask you, cowboy, not only how was your week in the Warzone this week, but how are you going to survive without Warzone in the coming week?
Well. Excellent questions, and I have excellent answers. First of all, I cannot believe how sweaty the game is. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but these lobbies are... It's been a long time since I felt like this, and I feel like a true amateur now. I'm getting slaughtered these days. So, to be honest, it might be good for my mental health to step away for a week and, maybe consider how I'm playing the game, how I'm approaching the game mentally, physically, philosophically. There's a lot of things that I need to start thinking about because it's not going very, very well right now. It actually is a good time for me to step away, put the old PS5 on the side, and just fly across the world and get away from the game because it's been a lot. And honestly, it was a really rough week. And I haven't been this frustrated in a long time. At least 4 to 6 months. I think this is the all-time highest frustration I've had in at least. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. So my week was frustrating. Still getting wins here and there, but I'm not feeling it doesn't feel good when it happens. It's more just like a relief at this point. So dark days for the old cowboy. How was your week in the Warzone?
Wow. With so much excitement flying into this episode, so much info to reveal, so much possibilities lying on the horizon, countdowns left and right. We're back to remind ourselves, though, that it really comes down to how it is with the sticks in your hand in the Warzone. And as you can hear by the tone of his voice, I sense some defeat. This is sincerely a cry for help, I think, but I'm with you. The sweat has been turned up, and I think part of it is the state of the meta is like somewhat stale. The TTK is kind of very, they adjusted it, but it seems like it's already creeped back up, and the meta is so low recoil, like low skill bar, that anyone can pick up the fucking STG, beam you across the map. I'm right there with you, though. Like, there's something going on with the SBMM. I know it wasn't just, we were playing with like someone like Mudpush or new players, so we were getting a little bit of better lobbies. No, we're with our main Rebirth crew, that day in, day out we run with. But like, I'm with you. It's just, there's something going on right now. And I don't think like, the influx of the player base has gotten exponentially better. Maybe it has. I don't know. But I'm with you. Like, definitely we hopped on for a while before recording this, and I was close to quitting many times. Like you said, we got to win. It kind of keeps you. It's like the little, free taster that keeps you in the meal line waiting to get the stupid hamburger that you're not even going to fucking enjoy. So I'm right there with you in terms of like day-to-day Warzone, but on the flip side, in terms of looking forward, more excited than ever. So much to dive into.
Yeah, and that's really all that's keeping me alive, I think what it is that there's just becoming less and less casual players, and it's just the people that play all the time now, and they're so good at the game that the sheep have been slaughtered, and now it's only wolves left,
Wow. Yeah. you know, it was like small fish, small pond, big fish, big pond type of thing. Well, now there's just only fucking sharks in the water. And if you're like us, you're bleeding out there. They're coming. They're going to come consume your ass.
Yeah, they're coming for that ass. They're coming to eat that ass.
Well, before we kind of lose any more listenership from these negative vibes, you're likely all here and what's on your mind in terms of the Call of Duty community across the board. What's on the mind is, as we teased and built up last week, is the worldwide reveal of Modern Warfare 2. The crown jewel in the history of Modern Warfare, it seems, at least in terms of, hyping it up, in terms of what it's going to do, in terms of what it signifies and what it will bring forth. And that happened on June 8th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. The trailer went live. I know you and I were both in the little countdown. We watched it live. First impressions from you, Cowboy. I know you're kind of wondering what to expect. Well, now you saw what they delivered. What are your thoughts here after this worldwide reveal of Modern Warfare 2 2022?
I think that I immediately texted you when it was done. I just said, cool. And I don't really know how I'm supposed to feel. It didn't like pump me up. Like it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait to play. I personally didn't recognize the faces. I recognized they had the shipment error, the container ship, whatever that was. I saw that little area that they teased. But other than that, it just seemed, and there was a water component, which I thought was cool. Like it looked like you could swim, which I was, that caught my eye. But other than that, it was like, some groovy J Balvin and some Metallica. And it was like awesome. But I definitely didn't like get torqued from it. I don't know. Was I supposed to be like fucking juiced after watching it? Because I wasn't. I don't know. I didn't even think it was the Warzone trailers of late that we've been, kind of praising. I thought those were shot better, looked better, felt better, created better. This one just was like a different level beneath. I don't know. That was my impression. What about you?
Well, if you're among the community and you've watched many of these reveal trailers, it's very much in their wheelhouse, like, pumping you up with music, cutting to the beat, reveals of all your favorite players, your characters from the Modern Warfare saga, your stupid lines about like, oh, it's fucking Russia, oh, is it us, or we gotta go in there type of thing. But then it just really played out purely as a cinematic. And that was the one thing I think, maybe I, again, had my expectations needed to be recalibrated. But kind of what surprised me is that it didn't seem like there was really any in-game footage. Like, I feel like normally they splice in some, the POV. So we talked about last week, we were hoping there'd be all this stuff.
Yeah, so you can like see the engine at work, right?
Yeah, you could glean from it.
And there was none of that. None at all. It was all like cinematic.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, I felt like the vast majority, again, I should go rewatch it, but the vast majority of the footage was like nighttime footage. So it was even harder to kind of see the world, see the graphics, so to speak. I think I made out an M13 in there. Was looking for it. But yeah, in terms of like direct, drawing direct information and revealing information for this trailer, it was lacking in that. It was more just like a sizzle type of trailer to get people pumped, especially the fanboys out there, the real purists, like they're loving that. But beyond that, not a ton directly from the video itself.
Yeah, I feel like the first one of these I've watched, and it was, underwhelming. I mean, honestly, and this sounds terrible, if they would have said that was Modern Warfare 1, I would have been like, yeah, it makes sense, cool. Like it didn't like seem to change anything for me, but I'm a noob amateur, so I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like very much it was more so focused on the story, the world, bringing us back to that. But everyone's certainly hyped across the internet. And more importantly, though, what this kind of allowed for with this going into the world is I know a lot of streamers, a lot of Call of Duty content creators, the long timers, the real folks, the folks that we aspire to, because we didn't get an invite, which, maybe next game.
What do you mean we didn't get an invite?
Like we didn't get an invite to have the exclusive early access, which is what I was going to say. A lot of these streamers, content creators were invited prior to this release to get their hands on it, or at least kind of had like a little demo, or they revealed a lot of information.
What the fuck is that about? Why aren't we getting those invites?
I don't know. I'm working on it. I got an email to the PR folks like, hey, did ours, like, did you get the wrong, you spelled Warzone, did you spell amateur wrong in our email, or we didn't get it?
Oh, so it was a lost in the mail situation. It wasn't that we didn't get invited. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I choose to believe so. If you're out there, though, you know, better late than never. Give us that info. But yeah, so unfortunately, we're forced to kind of rely on the second hand of these folks that did do that. But like I said, that, you know, at first I was disappointed because it was like, oh, we're going to record this podcast. I've got all this exciting shit I want to talk about. And it's like, well, wait, what's fucking new? What's the new info? And if you got just the trailer, it wasn't that. But that said, these creators now had these videos they had edited, ready to go. They're out in the world. Folks like, you know, Exclusive Ace, Jack Frags. Those are the two I watched. And that to me is like the silver lining here is we started to get some of these juicy bits of info. And that's really going to be the bulk of this episode, is going through that. And you touched on one thing, actually. You were able to kind of glean something from this trailer that is new, that is confirmed, that is coming to Modern Warfare 2 2022. It's not something that's brand new to Call of Duty, but it is to Modern Warfare, and that is they are introducing the swimming mechanic. You will be able to swim. There will be water action. You can put on those flippers and go for a leisurely stroke.
So does that mean it's coming to Warzone? That's all I care about, you know?
Well, I would assume so, especially because it sounds like there was a lot of care and attention given to the swimming mechanic. For instance, like how bullets behave in the water is, you know, affected. They'll be nerfed to a degree. The tides will affect like the movement of your body. They said you can deploy equipment in the water. So like, for instance, if you have a proximity mine, you deploy that, it floats on the water, and then they said the currents will move it around, which will allow you to like booby trap for boats. So it sounds like boats might be making a way.
Whoa.
So definitely, I gotta say 99% sure, like this has got to be coming to the new Warzone. But that said, it's definitely coming to Modern Warfare 2.
That's exciting. I mean, boats are exciting. I'd like to drive the boats.
Yeah, so big news there. Wasn't really that cool in Black Ops, but didn't really get much experience. Curious how it'll be integrated. Either way, it'll be nice to not, you know, just touch water in Warzone 2 and immediately die. Like, you'll be able to float around. It sounds like you're only able to use pistols in terms of weapons you can use in the water to engage folks. But it's a way to hide, perhaps, from people, which we're big on hiding. So we'll see kind of how they play with this, but it seems like it's definitely something they're really, like, it's not a mechanic they just slapped in there. There was definitely some time and care given to this.
That's cool. It's like they're taking the steps. It was like on Verdansk, if you touch the water, you're dead. Caldera, you can like go knee high, you know, and now we are finally getting in the water.
Now we got the floaties off. We're ready to take some, you know, some breaths on our own. I mean, I know you're a big like aquatic boat fisherman kind of guy. Like, any other final thoughts here on like swimming?
I've never played a video game with a swimming mechanic, but I would imagine it's hard to move, and like obviously like you hold your breath. Like, I'm curious to see how they do all that. You know, can you dive under the water? Is it just on the surface? Can you go down and like get away from, you know, I don't know. I'm curious.
Well, in terms of kind of the potential for Warzone, it's going to unlock, I think, you know, our map's going to be that much more diverse to be able to, I'm sure if there's water, they'll have stuff out in the water or in between the water, like boats, like the boats exactly on Rebirth. You know, maybe they're a little farther out this time and you got to swim to them.
Well, so here's the question then. If we're talking water, are we talking ocean or are we talking lakes? You know, is there going to be a lake in the middle of the map, or is it going to be surrounded like Caldera by the ocean?
I'm guessing maybe not surrounded, but I think
there will be a coastline.
Well, I guess was Verdansk surrounded too? Yeah, I think it'll be a coastline, but maybe there's a large body of water in the middle. Not sure on that. No details yet in regards to that, but
well, and I don't know if it like is a crossover, but in that trailer, there was like an oil derrick or something, right? Where there was like a helicopter landing, and it was like an oil, like an offshore oil derrick that like you could go to. I'm wondering if there's going to be maybe some of those split around. It seemed pretty modern day too. I was kind of wondering about the time period of this thing. Like at the very opening of it, like a car drives by and it seemed like a more newer age car. It wasn't some old ass or futuristic car. It seemed more or less present day.
Well, Yes, as the name would indicate, it is modern warfare.
Oh, that's right. I thought Modern Warfare, there was some element of like futuristic at times. Maybe not. I guess it is Modern Warfare.
I think it sounds like there's a real emphasis on like the realism for this one, especially. But that said, I think chronologically, they said this takes place 3 years after the storyline of Modern Warfare 19, which would be 2022. So maybe it's a 1-to-1 type of thing there, but very much contemporary. That said, in terms of mechanics, one that they confirmed is returning is sliding, though there's no confirmation whether slide canceling is still a thing.
Didn't we just talk about them getting rid of sliding?
No, we debated on whether it'd be better to get rid of slide canceling, but there was no confirmation. I think there was a rumor saying that it was going to be gone, but again, they just confirmed sliding itself is in the game, but no one can confirm whether or not like slide cancel is there, or it's changed, or you just can't do it altogether. So still a question mark on that.
Got it. Okay.
But in addition, another mechanic alongside it, which I believe was first introduced prior to sliding, is now making its way back, and that is diving. So you run. Instead of going into a slide, you can now, go fucking straight forward like you're on the goddamn slip and slide. Boo! Dive into some shit.
What? Really?
Yeah, baby.
That seems weird. Like, why would you, like, what is the... That seems like you'd break your neck or your collarbone or something. Why would you dive? And then do you go into a roll?
That's where I'm at. I'm wondering how they're going to differentiate these two. But the optimist in me says like, okay, well, maybe there'll be some downside now to sliding type of thing. Because I'm with you. Like, if they're going to add diving, then there should be a reason why it's beneficial. Like, why not always slide if, let's say, diving takes you longer to get to get your gun up?
Yeah, well, maybe it's like you can dive if you're in a house and a gunfight's happening. You can like dive through a doorway or something, so you can quickly get out of it. So you protect your head first or something, But what happens if you jump off a building, like a short little 1 or 2 story building where you normally wouldn't break your legs? You jump off and you dive off it. You go head first into the concrete beneath you. Do you then? Are you downed?
I don't know. There's a lot of ways to theorize it. There's one, maybe you travel a farther distance, diving, and again, you end up prone, so maybe that's a benefit, whereas sliding, you maybe don't travel as far and you're in a crouched position, or maybe there's an ADS penalty, one's worse than the other. Curious to see, but that is going to be those two mechanics alongside swimming. That's all confirmed for multiplayer, which 99%, ergo vis-a-vis means that's going to be in Warzone 2.
What if we get now dive canceling? And it looks like you're running like a chimpanzee. You like dive forward and
Yeah, it's like this like crazy panther-like.
You ever seen those people that try to walk like horses or something? It looks like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know that one. But
dive cancel, you've heard it here first.
Dive canceling, we'll see. Slide canceling again. See also with that. Maybe there's swim canceling, even there. Make you infinite swim fucking fast.
Okay.
But that said, additionally, some new things coming to Modern Warfare confirmed are some new field upgrades. They've revealed 4 of the new gadgets arriving in the 2022 multiplayer. The first one is called Tactical Camera. They said Rainbow Six Siege players will be familiar with it, and it might be especially effective in Siege S. There's a new prisoner rescue mode they're introducing, where one team basically holds a prisoner and tries to keep him, the other one tries to infiltrate attack. Anyways, you can throw the tactical camera up on a wall, and then you can look through it to spy on the enemy. So you can throw multiple cameras around the map and cycle through them, pinging anything the camera sees.
That's kind of cool.
They will have a battery life, so they won't be around forever, and they will beep when an enemy walks in front of them.
So the enemy will hear the beep, or you hear the beep?
I think probably both, which, I mean, the camera aspect definitely rife for improvement, because like the drone it's just too cumbersome, whereas this, the ability to do multiple and kind of ping between them, interesting thing there, which I'm curious. Like, to me, this seems like it's definitely going to support campers and stuff, or like you said, a booby trap, or you like, let's say, applying it to the current Warzone, let's say we're on Rebirth, we're in prison, you throw one of those in the hallway maybe, then you can see when the players go, but then do you have to pull up that feed and like just be sitting there watching it kind of vulnerable? I don't know. A lot of questions here with this.
Well, if it beeps, it lets you know that they're there, and then you could switch to the camera to see, and then you could be like, oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. And I'm sure that you can shoot these, and if you see one from like distance, you could shoot it and like before it beeps, I'm sure that'll be a thing.
Interesting. Well, that is coming. Again, no new official details yet, but tactical cameras will be on the menu. The other is called a drill charge, which they said is another concept that the Rainbow Six Siege players will be familiar with. It essentially shoots a grenade through a wall, and then it detonates on the other side. So it basically like drills a hole in the wall and then boop, shoots out a little nade. They call it an offensive tool, especially effective against vehicles, as players can stick it to the vehicle where it'll fire a grenade inside, killing everyone. However, it doesn't do that much damage to the vehicle itself. What do you think about a drill charge?
That seems pretty cool. I mean, I've been in a lot of... I wonder if you could do it above you, because I feel like there's always situations where you're like, oh, they're right above us on the roof, or like, oh, I think they're right beneath us. But that's it. I like the idea,
Yeah, and I think when they talk about being particularly effective, to me, this seems like an anti-camping kind of device. You got people held up in a room like, okay, bitch, here comes some drill charging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like it. Actually. I think these would be great. Yeah.
I also just think like with the name, it's going to be open. Like, I'm going to drill this shit. Let's drill them,
Let's drill them. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
I always got to think about like, stuff like that because I'm a wordsmith like that.
You are.
But that is the second new addition. The third one they confirmed is called a Ddos device, which is essentially, in the earlier CODs, it was called an EMP. And what it does is it disrupts enemy equipment and vehicles. So anyone holding the Ddos field upgrade will receive a HUD pop-up informing them whether there's a nearby equipment or vehicles to hit. Any cars hit by the Ddos will stall, and the driver will need to follow a button prompt to restart the engine.
That sounds like such a pain in the ass.
I like that, though. They've been needing some counters to vehicles other than like C4. Like C4 was crazy overpowered, then it got nerfed, and now like vehicles are, I guess maybe, the Humvee, the little Rovers, 4x4s, you're pretty vulnerable, but for the most part, otherwise, it's kind of like you got free range driving around or flying around. Whereas now, let's say, you see a car coming, you throw this, you disable the car, taking us back to our roots of battle royales. Remember they had a similar device in H1Z1 where it was like an EMP grenade. Remember you'd throw it and the car would hit it and then they'd be stuck. I like this wrinkle. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Well, they've had this in the zombie mode too. There was EMPs with the zombies, right?
Did it work on, is there vehicles in the zombie mode?
Yeah, it was on Verdansk.
Oh, okay, you're right.
It would like recharge, I think, and then you could let out an EMP.
That's right, if you were the zombie. Got it.
Exactly, it was the zombies that had them. Yeah. So you could like stun the soldier driving or something and you could go eat them.
Yes, indeed. So that's going to be a new thing. On the little image, it looks like it's like a little fucking like glider it's hooked up to, like rigged up. And then this next one I actually think is really fucking cool. As somebody who loves the spray paints, loves the fuckery, this one's called an Inflatable Decoy. And it mimics an enemy soldier. It basically is like a prop player. So you inflate this thing, it rapidly inflates when an enemy walks by, auto-orienting towards them so it's facing them.
It auto-inflates when an enemy walks by?
You can manually deploy them too, it sounds like, as well. And it'll inflate to a crouch position in a tight space and will mimic a swimming position if in water.
Wow, I thought you just like throw this down and it sits there, but it literally inflates when an enemy walks by. That's so funny. That's going to scare the hell out of people.
I love it. I love this type of thing. To me, this is like, these are how you counter the sweat lords, because they're just like, they're programmed to be like fucking twitching. Oh, they see something. Blah, blah. So it's like, okay, bitch, you want to come hunt me? Well, I got some other cards up my sleeve. Maybe I'll spray paint this wall. Maybe I'll throw my little inflatable guy over here. And then me, I'm going to be over here, bitch. Better figure it out.
You're still going to get slaughtered, but it'll just take longer.
Hell yeah, he'll waste some bullets though on that shit.
Nice. You tell him.
All right. Well, I can see you're also very hyped for this. So I guess we could maybe move on. Or any final thoughts on some of these field upgrades?
No, that sounds cool. I wonder how many of them make it to Warzone.
I think all of them.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna put the money down. I think they're all coming, and there sounds like there's even more in addition because it says unveiled so far.
Ooh, I like it. That's it. That is exciting. I am excited.
All right. Well, in addition, we talked about some new mechanics in terms of diving. There's also confirmed that there's going to be called like ledge hanging, so you can kind of grip. Instead of just purely mantling now, you can just grip shit. And not only that, let's say you're on a ladder climbing, or it sounds like on a ledge as well, you can now pull out a pistol, like on the ladder, aim that shit around, instead of just having your hands completely tied.
That's nice. That is cool. Yeah, and I like the idea of like, oh, they're pushing the roof and you could just hang off the roof, and like they don't know you're there.
Yes, and you can peek. It sounds like you can kind of raise up and peek now a bit.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And they said it sounds like to me this is a direct counter to the issues with like mantling, climbing fucking rocks is such a saga in this game. It sounds like they've kind of rethought that. There's a new system for climbing for all of this. So I think this is also intriguing, exciting, more innovation, more power to the players. Nothing earth-shattering, but some tweaks.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is exciting. I like all these changes.
And they also are making some overlays with vehicles as well. Major overhaul, they're calling it. Before we dive into that, though, it sounds like they've confirmed there's a brand new vehicle coming, which is called the Helicopter Troop Carrier.
Ooh.
And it's essentially an armored truck version. It's in the sky, though. It has 2 pilot seats, and the back half can be free, allowing players to run around and shoot out of the chopper.
Oh, wow. So it's going to be like a cargo chopper.
Yes, essentially, yes. But it sounds like there's like that open space where you can kind of run around. Instead of being stuck in a seat, you can kind of move around, take peeks.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a cargo hole in the back so they could like move around. I like that. That's cool.
But additionally, as I touched on, major vehicle overhaul coming. They said it's going to be a huge part of this game, especially for the large scale maps. And in terms of what's coming here is they will be able to lean out of windows and fire their weapons. You'll also be able to climb onto the roof of the vehicle. The vehicle's driver will be able to lean out of the window if they have a weapon equipped. And additionally, the vehicles have been redesigned. They said damage they take is displayed by smoke pouring out of the hood. They'll take real-time damage to doors, hoods, bumpers getting knocked off. You can even blow out tires.
Ooh.
But that said, the vehicle's not just going to disappear and be gone. They're going to have the ability to repair damaged vehicles and fix damaged tires.
Interesting. So so if you need a vehicle and one's destroyed, you should probably lay next to it, and then it takes like 10, 20, 30 seconds to repair it, and then you can repair the vehicle and use it.
Yeah, exactly. But I again, similar to the EMP or the DDoS, it's like I like the fact that it's not just, I got to put all the bullets in this car until it's disabled. Now I fucked it. Like, no, we can aim for the tires, or like everyone aim for the engine. Let's take this shit down. It's smoking. I'm not a huge vehicle guy, like in terms of it being in the game, but I do think in terms of if they're going to have them, these types of changes, I think add more depth, make it more dynamic. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I like vehicles. They haven't talked about this yet, but are there airplanes coming back? I think that's the question on everyone's mind.
No word yet on fighter jets or flying. I don't believe they've had that type of thing in Modern Warfare games, especially since it's Modern Warfare. It'd have to be like, full on jet, fucking Tom Cruise, Top Gun.
Yeah.
Missiles and shit, which might get a little crazy because the airspace you need when you're traveling that fast gets pretty massive. And that's never really been like the cup of tea here for Warzone, or Call of Duty. That's more of like a battlefield type of space. So no word on air vehicles. Can't rule them out, but certainly if you're looking for the fighter jet experience, which I know you love on Caldera, that might be a thing of the past.
Cool. Bummer.
All right. Well, some hype continues. Additionally, though, so this is all kind of the new stuff they've confirmed. The other thing, all right, now we're getting to the meat and potatoes here. The real stuff, this is the Warzone Amateur Hour, so we're really focused on that, as you all know. But that brings us to the Gunsmith, which, if you've listened to this podcast for any time, especially since the introduction of Vanguard, you would know that my campaign has been ongoing to defame and decry the addition of 10 fucking attachments being able to slot on a single gun. Stupid, stupid, stupid decision. If you're out there and you did that, shame on you. But that said, I'm pleased to announce that it's all but official that Modern Warfare 2 is returning to the Pick 5 setup for building out your guns. The gunsmith returns. They said there is a total of 10 attachment slots, but you can only equip 5 at one time. But in addition to that, they're not just bringing it back to how it was in Modern Warfare 19, of course. They're adding even more depth to that, which there's not a ton of concrete info, but essentially there's going to be new features with your creative class and the way you build attachments. So essentially, like when you equip, let's say, a suppressor or something like that, there'll be tuning that you can even do to that piece of equipment. So I guess maybe a suppressor isn't one, but they said there was like a stock you could use, and you could tune the stock to be heavy, which would like help with recoil, or you could tune it to be light, which would then improve your ADS. So it's kind of like introducing attachments, but from there, the attachments can even now be tweaked. So it's kind of an interesting situation.
So it's infinite now. It's not just 10, it's 5, but it's infinite. So it's really more than 5. It's 5 infinitely, because you have to, the sliding scale, it's actually more complex.
In a way, yes. I know the folks, these poor bastards that do the like loadouts, best guns, true game data, Warzone loadout, are saying this is going to make it tricky, but essentially the way they're describing it is you can adjust the characteristics of each attachment to better suit your needs. And their example is a standard stock attachment adds movement speed and reduces recoil control, but you could adjust that to which the movement speed is increased and the recoil is decreased. So it kind of gives you like a slider there within the attachment to see like what exactly do you want that attachment to be doing. Do you want it to be like a X, a Y, or right in the middle, kind of Goldilocks?
Yeah, interesting. How do you feel about it?
I have to see how it's implemented. It sounds like it won't be on every single attachment, which is good. They said it's only going to be available on weapons that reach a certain level, so you'll need to be proficient with the weapon to access this feature. This isn't an opportunity to make weapons overpowered, as boosting one characteristic drastically will result in the corresponding negative. So like, I like that I'm all about balance. We've talked about that, trade-offs, having to make these decisions. And to me, this seems like it's in that direction. I have to see how it's implemented, but to me, I like the idea of it.
Yeah, I like the idea of it too. It's like everything always has to change. It's like, why can't they just have 5 attachments? Why does it have to be the sliding scale? I mean, I guess you say that until it's amazing, and then you're like, this is great, what a good idea. So I don't know. It's just there's so many choices. I think this even makes it more complicated for casual players.
I guess more complicated, but I do think it's gonna blur the lines of, in Modern Warfare 19, early era of Warzone, it was like you built out every single gun, at least, let's say ARs, the same way. You did the monolithic suppressor, you did the longest barrel, the biggest mag, commando foregrip, whatever that 5th one, and you called it a day. It was literally like applied it to every single loadout. Whereas this, I think, adds some more depth, adds some more wrinkles, like we've talked about in previous episodes. It'd be nice for you to craft the gun to kind of fit your play style, have these trade-offs. It seems like this introduction of this is a step towards that direction, but again, it's execution dependent. So we got to see. Maybe it'll be in the end, yeah, do this attachment, tune it all the way to help this and find a way to exploit the fuck out of the system and fuck you.
Yeah. I wonder, how often this is going to break and things are going to get broken with this new complexity.
But either way, in the end, getting us back to the 5 attachment space, to me, that's the win of wins. I can ask you, how do you build this? Yeah, maybe you got to say, oh, do this suppressor and tune it this way, but it's going to be a lot faster to relay that information than like, okay, you ready? Here's my loadout. Fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look how long that literally just took me. And that was me just listing off numbers.
It was legitimately 10 seconds. You just counted to 10.
Yeah, it's a long fucking time when you add in the extra syllables and shit. And it's this barrel, not that. So again, I think for me, the biggest takeaway here is thank fucking God for that.
Yeah, okay, let's move on. I know this gets you excited.
Well, this might get you excited there, and I know it certainly does to me, is they've confirmed also that the inventory, the weapons, all of that shit from the existing Warzone is getting taken off the table. They're going to be starting, the inventory is going to reset for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.
Wow.
Only going to feature this brand new shit, which I guess, do you have any thoughts before I kind of throw a bomb here on top of it, buddy?
I think that's great. I mean, I'm glad that we never spent a dime on our blueprints, baby.
It's just, I think someone counted, there's 200 plus weapons in the game, but when you look at the player base, the pick rate, it's got to be 95% of that aren't really in use. So I don't think anyone's going to be shedding many tears. Yeah, people like you said who bought the blueprints or put in a ton of work might be shedding some tears, a little sad. But for me, for us folks, I've been waiting for this since the fucking beginning. Like when Black Ops guns got introduced, I was like, whoa, this is getting bloated. Can't we just take this all off, start again, start fresh? I hope the weapon balancing from the get-go is going to be approached better. But to me, also, like these two notes, very exciting, very heartening, just what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wonder how many weapons they're going to introduce.
They're theorizing around 70 around launch.
Wow.
But we will see. There won't be another standalone game coming, a year down the line. So if they do start with 70, that's a good place, but I don't think it's going to bloat up to where like, okay, now we got 50 more on top of that, which was like literally the case when Black Ops Cold War integrated. It was like, yep, we're doubling that shit. So hopefully they can maintain, the kind of different niches, the different balancing among the classes like we talked about, make each gun kind of stand out or have a place in the battlefield that you can excel with it or, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, totally. 70, yeah, I guess 70 sounds good. That seems like a lot to me, but I guess if you divide it amongst the different classes, it's not that many.
Well, the flip side on this coin there, buddy, is if they're resetting the inventory, they're starting fresh. I got to imagine it might mean the KDs themselves are getting reset because we're going to have a brand new Warzone.
Yeah, are you saying that happily? I can't tell if you're upset or happy.
I mean, I'm happy. How about we talked about from the beginning, like our KD is kind of plummeted. You blamed it on the 10-inch cowgirl.
Oh, they're resetting our KDs. Oh,
There's the reaction I'm looking for.
Oh, I thought you were talking TTKs, and I was like, well, yeah, what? Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, thank fucking God. Finally, your boy's coming out of the dungeon. He's getting let out of the chest in his gimp suit, and he's ready to attack and reset his KD finally.
In the gimp suit, fresh on the scene with a fresh KD that as soon as he takes a death will plummet. It'll just be like a match-to-match thing to check that thing fluctuating like the goddamn stock market. But yeah, I mean, again, this hasn't been confirmed, but you got to imagine this is going to be a brand new Warzone experience. They're wiping the slate clean with the weapons. They got to be wiping the slate clean with the KDs.
That's a great point. I didn't think about it.
So is there like a KD you're going to be targeting to stay above or?
One. Just one.
One. Okay.
One would be amazing. I'm at like a 0.4. I've been at a 0.4 since I started playing the game. And that's like the worst KD on the friend list of everybody that I've ever checked. I'm the worst. So I want to reset this. I want to hit 1. That's my goal.
Well, you'll have to, those lives are going to be a little more precious, it sounds like, early on. Because, yeah, you get to the point where we're at. You've played this many, hundreds, thousands of hours. Like, you can't really affect your TTK in any KD, in any sort of notable way with that amount of numbers, unless you're really, like, taking your shit to another level or you just start cheating, honestly, and getting, like, 10 kills, 0 deaths.
Yeah. It's impossible to change, honestly, at this point.
So we shall see. Again, not confirmed yet. That is really it for all the purely Modern Warfare news, but you gotta know the big news about the future of Warzone 2. There was a lot of that coming out as well this week, which again, Tron is hyped for. But before we get to that, it's time for a word from our sponsors. And we are here to remind you again that if you're looking for a way to absorb 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right, look no further than AG1, the product we have shared about before. A single scoop. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or
Paleo. It's pronounced paleo.
Paleo. As you can see, I'm clearly a dieter. It's complementary to all of that. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, and it still tastes good. It supports better sleep quality and recovery and mental clarity and alertness.
Yeah. All those things are something, that I think a good game. Listen, it's all about, what we're talking about here is like stepping your game up from amateur level to sweat lord level. And I would assume that Athletic Greens is trying to get you there. It seems like they are. I've become there. This is what's going to get me to that 1 KD, baby.
He's going to use that to support it. You utilize the code athleticgreens.com/emerging, and they're going to go ahead and give you with a subscription a year's supply of vitamin D. Which again is so important to add with, winter on the horizon and you don't get as much sunlight, or you're in the gaming room gaming it up. Don't get that vitamin D. You can get all of that with 1 scoop a day with AG1.
I was going to say winter on the horizon. I guess that's true for half the world. Our Australian listeners, the winter's on the horizon, but where we live, it's June. And I think summer is technically on the horizon. But yes, your point about being a gamer, being inside, trying to cut your chops, trying to get to that next level, raising that KD, you gotta take the vitamin D if you're not getting the sunshine.
All right. But yes, indeed, if you go ahead and make a purchase for AG1, you're not only going to be, in a way, supporting this podcast, you're not only going to be supporting your own health and well-being, you're also going to be supporting a company that, does right. They, for every purchase, they donate to organizations that help get nutritious food to kids in need, including No Kid Hungry here in the United States. And in 2020, AG Athletic Greens donated over 1.2 million meals to kids.
That's a lot of meals.
So as we said, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop in a cup of water every day. Go ahead. If you're interested, head to athleticgreens.com/emerging. Use the code. You're going to get the immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So thank you again for those who have done so, and thank you in the future for those who will.
I need to get some of those travel packs. I wish I had some for my trip.
Well, that brings us back to the main course here, which I was a little I was on the pessimistic side when I saw this worldwide revealed. I had to figure there's not going to be a ton of Warzone information coming down the pipeline. Well, I was pleasantly surprised to hear just the opposite. They confirmed a lot of information about Warzone 2, but first off, high level, top line, get your pens out, hold the fucking press here. We've talked about, Modern Warfare 2 set for October 28th, 2022. Warzone 2 expected for sometime 2023. Well, scratch that, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, hold the phones. They have confirmed that Warzone 2 is going to be coming later this year, as in 2022.
Wow. This was shocking because I thought that Modern Warfare 2 was coming later as a holiday thing, and then we get in 2023 you get Warzone 2, but I feel like it's Warzone 2 is the holiday gift,
I think you're damn right. We got the Halloween treat, so to speak, with Modern Warfare 2, but then the real Santa Claus coming to town. It's going to be Warzone 2, which, again, like, okay, let's do the fucking math here. Modern Warfare 2 comes out end of October. That literally just leaves November and December. So it's like going to be within, 60 days of Modern Warfare 2's release that we're going to be getting a brand new Warzone experience?
Yeah, pretty unbelievable. That's around the corner. That's like not too far away. October 23rd. It's weird to say, but July, August, September, that's like 4 months. It's nothing.
Hey, man, that fall. So, I said winter's on the horizon. Well, fall's even closer, baby.
You're right. Technically, you're right.
Depending on your locale. But they confirmed that Warzone 2.0, they're calling it, it'll share the engine, gameplay mechanics, and be an extension of the Modern Warfare 2 universe. They said, additionally, on top of this, it's going to be the first time they're doing this, but they're going to be transitioning to what they're calling a unified engine technology, which means that every kind of new Call of Duty from here forward is going to be working off the same engine, not like separate engines. So it's going to connect the gameplay, and they want to ensure that Warzone 2 feels like an extension of the Modern Warfare 2 universe.
Okay. Sounds appropriate.
So pretty groundbreaking stuff. Again, it's going to be, we're almost there. Like the advent calendar, I better go rush to the store, or I guess to my garage to make one. Because the days are ticking down. We're getting closer. I'm 99% sure I'm pulling the trigger on Modern Warfare 2, and going to be so goddamn excited that Warzone 2 will only be a few months away from that. I mean, right around like winter break too. Like, whoo-wee. Am I right?
Yeah, it's really exciting. Are Tron Juniors going to be old enough to get their hands on Warzone 2?
I mean, it is rated M for mature, so I'm inclined to stick to that. I think that they'll be a little too young for like headshots and using their opposable thumbs to grip a controller, but they might catch a few glimpses.
Listen, you could save them from the amateur life that we've been born into by training them at a very young age.
Training them now. I'll get them I'll just give them the controller that's not plugged in. They're bored. I'll say, here, play with this. Work on your slide canceling button combinations.
That actually would be so cute if you got them each their own little controller that wasn't plugged in, and they were just watching their dad play and they thought they were playing.
Take a look at dad, clutch it out. Yo, I died.
Yeah.
But again, with the embargo now somewhat lifted, next on the horizon is going to be gameplay footage. Next on the horizon is going to be information about the new map, the new weapons, all this other stuff. This is only just the tip of the iceberg. In addition, they also said there's going to be a huge focus on AI. Like there's huge work done to make AI, like bots, way more deadly and responsive. So that could be an incorporated thing into Warzone. We talked about those weird strongholds for unlocking like your loadout.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to go and defeat like a squad of these beefed up AI guys. But tons of info. This podcast was recorded a little bit in the week, so if there's more info that has come out since, we'll be covering that next week. But I mean, the future is fucking now. We're looking down the barrel of Warzone 2 at this point.
It's exciting. I mean, it's hard to believe that. I'm ready, but it's hard to believe.
Yeah, I'm honestly still stunned. Like this year, it's so late. These guys love to milk this. Like, look, this reveal trailer's out now, and we're not getting the actual game for 5 months from now. But then on top of that, it's like, oh yeah, and there's a new fucking Warzone. So it's exciting. They're gonna have to start showing the cards soon, because again, the days are ticking by. But as a final note, they did confirm that the Warzone experience of today is still going to be available, but it will remain separate. So they said, quote, today's Warzone will continue on as a separate experience that will include a continuation of player progression and inventories within that Warzone experience.
Yeah, but no one's going to play it anymore.
Well, hopefully the sweat lords that have been fucking dominating us on Rebirth, that got that shit dialed in, they just stay on that, stay nostalgic.
Well, they're for sure. They're all streamers. They're going to go to the new one and try to get their likes and their donations and yada, yada, yada.
Maybe they take, slide canceling out and do some other things that level the playing field a little, and they get mad and they just go back to the little fucking holes like these folks that still play those old shooters for real long times after the new version comes out, like the people that are still playing like fucking, Black Ops 3 and shit. I don't know.
Well, a couple of podcast hosts can dream.
We can dream. Again, what's unknown, what is in the future holds so much promise, especially for the amateurs out there. We want to hear from you, though. What are you hyped about? What else have you heard about the game? Any other leaks we've missed? Do you think there'll be dive canceling, slide canceling, swim canceling, as the Cowboy has said? Where are you at? How are you feeling? And that's really it.
Yeah, shameless call to action. Please like, subscribe. If you're not a sub on YouTube, head on over there, like our shit. If you listen on Spotify, Apple, give us a rating, follow us, all that stuff. It all really, really helps. We don't do like hard calls like this often, but when we have done them, we've noticed like spikes and everything. So like, please, it goes a long way, and it's literally just a snap of the finger on your end, and it means a lot to us.
Yes, indeed. That little bit can help us get out there, get our name, exposure. As the Cowboy said last week, he'll be, transitioning to some long-term locale. You better get that stream room going, or that, recording, whatever it is, you're gaming, your man cave going, because October 28th is coming. We got so much plans. In the meantime, we got to get some custom games, in the current Warzone before it goes away. We're going to do the live call-in Q&A action, so stay tuned. However, that is going to do it for us this week on the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast. Again, the worldwide review for Modern Warfare 2 is behind us. So much lies ahead, so much, in the coming weeks that we'll be diving into. So thank you all who've stayed with us. Keep sticking with us, right?
Right. And just to throw this out there, by the time this drops, your Cowboy is going to be in Paris, France. If anybody wants to have a beer or a glass of champagne with your boy, I will be there in Paris this week. Tron can set up a reservation for us at one of the high-end restaurants. Hit me up.
All right. Well, Mr. International, we'll see if folks can join up. But either way, we'll be trying to join up with you in the war zone. It sounds like Tron's going to be solo for the next week, so definitely going to be squadding up with some of the Warzone folks. Apologies to the Luke Legacy out there as a Warzone player, WA community member. We were only able to run one game with him this week, and Cowboy had horrific connection issues, so we kind of did one and done. But we love you all.
Yeah, it was a really freak situation. My internet was just like 20 Mbps download, and it was a nightmare. Broke my legs every drop. I don't want to talk about it. Sorry, Luke.
All right. Well, we love you all, as we've said. We will talk to you next week to dive into even more. And until then,
good luck in the gulag.